Hello everyone. Today we're going to take a look at birds of prey movement. Now, movement in birds of prey is a little complicated depending on the kind of maneuver that you're trying to achieve. I'm going to keep it pretty simple with doing straight flight, banked flight, angled flight, and of course the conventional turns. Things like barrel rolls are also supported. It's just basically shifting yourself over one particular thing at a pretty heavy cost. So anyway, in our particular case, we have our trusty F100 sitting over here as a D model. It's going to head altitude 50 because we have 225 altitude steps, and we're cruising over here. So today we're going to be taking advantage of a couple new tools that are going to be helping us out. We have our traditional FAD, which works very, very effectively, and we also have this really, really nice spreadsheet that exists on the Birds of Prey groups.io file section. In this particular spreadsheet, you can dial in things like what the drag per G's is, what the form drag is, what the max lift is. You can dial where the nose is, and it actually pre-calculates the tax form for you, which is incredible if you ask me. So just quick take a look at this tax form real quick, and as well as looking over on this side, you'll notice that our nose is pointing over here at 345. We can't actually point on this hex edge, which is kind of interesting because if we are up here at 0000, we could point on that hex edge, but we'd be facing upwards, which makes things a little bit more interesting. So this is our nose. This is our canopy. It's not necessarily a canopy. It's really the middle of our plane, and this is our right wing. So if you come back over to tabletop, you can see that this corresponds to the exact image that you're seeing in this particular situation. So if you were, for example, to, let's grab our little aircraft right here. We'll shut physics off for just a second. If you were to have something like this, I thought I shut you off, Mr. Physics. There we go. So if you were to take something like this and go ahead and plop it up here, like this, and you're at this neat little angle right here, instead of having the nose on 345, our nose would have shifted over to this guy here at 0 degrees plus 30. So we'd have something that would look a little bit like this. And then our nose would be parked right there. So for this example, we're going to leave it just the way we had it just a second ago. Okay, so how is movement handled? Well, movement's handled pretty easily. What you're going to be doing is basically calculating how far you can move and then using these two instruments down here to basically plot the move. After you plot the move, then all you do is you go over to your regular tabletop and you move the model as appropriate. So how does one plot the move? So the first thing we've done is we've pre-calculated everything that we're going to need to know as far as speed and drag and everything along those lines, and we're left with a speed of 400. So if we scoot over here real quickly, we come to this neat little table, which is basically going to give us a hint on how much of our actual turn, how much flight points, or how many flight points I should say, we're going to use based on how fast we're traveling. So we picked a very, very good speed at 400 because that means that for each tick, we're going to be having exactly one more flight point than we had from the previous tick. Now, if we were doing 1,000 knots, you would notice we do 2 flight ticks, then 5, all the way up to 25 flight points, which is 25 times 400 feet moved in a single turn, which is pretty substantial. So normally what you would do is you'd plot out your T-point and everything along those lines, but the spreadsheet has gone ahead and done everything for me automatically. So this column right here, I should say this table right here, basically corresponds to this table right here. So let's say we just want to go in a straight line. So we know our speed is 400, which would mean if we were going to spend all 10 of our ticks going 400, we'd travel a total of 10 flight points. So the way we'd represent that is we'd come over here, we type in 10. Since we're going to be straight and level, we're going to have a load of 1. There's not going to be any G's, and we're going to leave our nose exactly where it was previously. So what does that mean for us? That's going to give us 10 flight points. And we're not going to have any change in altitude here at all. So how do you spend a flight point? Well, it's actually pretty easy. So we're going to go back here. We're going to scoot right here real quickly. And you have this neat little 3D display down here. So the flight points, as you recall, equal one of these hexes. So I'm going to go ahead and grab myself my brush real quick. So basically, you're going to be traveling inside the arc, this little cone if you want to think about it another way, based on where your nose is during this particular situation. Since my nose is more or less facing completely parallel with the map table, we're going to be traveling inside of this white arc which acts in the middle. You always do your 3D moves before you do your 2D moves. So we're going to basically be in here. Let me go ahead and grab my brush. And now we simply plot hex to hex to get our ones as long as we stay in something that's white. So in this case, let's keep our altitude exactly the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that would mean we would move ourselves 10 total points, and basically, but we wouldn't change any altitude whatsoever. So since we're moving 10 just horizontally, we'd then scoot over here, and then we'd have to plot our 2D movement. Now, as you recall, we're pointing towards 3, 4, 5 right now, which means that anything within from here to here is a valid hex we can now place ourselves on. So since we didn't change our vertical altitude, this is where things are going to get a little more confusing. We're simply going to count out a 10 of our hexes, remember it's from 10 flight points, to go ahead and figure out where we're going to end up on the map itself. So for example, we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we could go 9, 10, which would carry us 10 hexes in that direction. So that would be it for plotting our move. So then we just simply come over here, grab our aircraft. Remember, we're not rotating at all as far as up and down goes. We'd be facing this hex edge here, just like it showed on our map. And we'd be moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now we would be all the way over here. We've covered a pretty good distance. This is about 4,000 feet. It's almost a mile. So now that would be it for traveling straight. So now, of course, what we'd have to do is come back over here. We'd have to update this, which we don't because we didn't actually change which of our hexes that we're facing in this particular coin. By the way, I did accidentally rotate my aircraft. That's actually incorrect. Our aircraft would still have been facing the same direction it was originally. We've essentially done a very, very light and gentle less than 15-degree turn to get ourselves where we ended up on our little chart here. So it's kind of neat to see kind of how that sort of plays out within the actual game itself. And again, that's because we're right here in this particular arc. Now, let's go ahead and make things a little bit more complicated, which, of course, with a game like this, why would you make things more complicated? Well, there's a couple different reasons you want to make them a little more complicated, and I'll go ahead and show you why. Let's go ahead and confirm everything. 345 would be centered. Yep, we've done everything correctly. So let's say we're going to do the exact same straight move. We're going to do just like we did last time. We're going to go ahead and use our 10 ticks on straight. But this time, when we're plotting in 3D, we do something like this. Let's grab our brush again. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that would mean our total vertical distance would change 4, 5, which usually you just come over here. We'd circle the 5 for this particular arc, just to remind us that we've gone up by 5. But here's where it gets kind of cool. Now, if you look on these little hexes here, it tells you how far you're going to move horizontally. So in this particular case, it's going to be moving horizontally 10, just like it was moving horizontally before. But the difference now is we've gained 4 altitude. So when we go to update our chart, we'd go ahead and do our 2D like we just did a minute ago, but we'd also have to put some tokens for the white ones underneath us to represent that we've gotten ourselves to a new altitude. So that's pretty much it for basic movement. It's not too bad. So now we're going to go ahead and make things complicated because that's kind of fun. So we'll go back over to our handy-dandy spreadsheet, and we'll say this time we want to roll the aircraft upside down. So rolling aircraft is very, very straightforward inside this game. We're going to go ahead and grab our ADC. You'll notice that you have this little mark down here at the bottom, which basically tells you how quick that you can actually roll. We're at normal roll rate, which if you had the older style MDCs, would basically correlate to something like 15 points in the green. I think it's like 5 points for the normal. It's a pretty good amount of roll, but it's more than enough. It basically means we can do anything we need in the time that we need to do it. If we were a big airplane or something like that, that would be complicated. So whenever you roll, it's going to use 1 hex. So normally you get between 3 and 6 hexes per tick if you are rolling, unless of course you're in the slow zone, in which case you have a different issue. Save that for another day. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend half of my turn flipping ourselves upside down. So we'll do 5 ticks. So of course that's going to be a load of 1 once again. We're going to roll a total of 6 cells. So what does that mean? Well, that would flip our nose upside down. That would also flip our canopy to the opposite side, and more interestingly, it would take our wing and flip that upside down also, which would leave us something like this. Now, without getting too complicated, if we were to flip upside down, there'd be no change as far as this stuff goes. So then we would simply do our last 5 ticks, or would be regular load, or we could just say load 1 here. We're not rolling any, and our nose stays in the same spot as it did just a minute ago. So this would use all 10 of our flight points. Remember, that's because we're doing 400. And you can see that basically we've flipped ourselves over. So now that our wing is over, our right wing is over here. And if we were to go ahead and do this on this side, we'd have something that kind of looks like this, where you'd see the underside of the aircraft now. And we're completely flipped. So that's how you roll. Again, rolls are pretty straightforward. If you combine a turn and a roll, things get a little complicated. So let's go ahead and let's leave it exactly the way it was. Let's go ahead and assume that we're already upside down. Go ahead and clean all this up real quickly. We're at the negative 100 now because we're upside down. Minus 90, and this is 255 at minus 0. Okay, so now our aircraft is upside down. Let's say now we want to go ahead and do some turning. We want to do a significant amount of turning. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and spend 10 ticks pulling as much load as we possibly can. Now, we're rated for 7 Gs, which is more than enough to black us out, but we'll save that for another day. So I'm going to go ahead and put 7 in here. That gets us a total turning points of 24. What is a turning point? Let's go ahead and take a look real quick. Turning points are these on the top. Basically, 24 turning points would mean I could pull up to 120 degrees of turn because I have 24. If you're in one of the yellow regions, that would be these particular regions, it doesn't cost as many turn points to do the same maneuver. Instead, it would only be 120 turn points for 120 degrees. So in this case, if we were to go ahead and pull that 7 Gs, we could do 120 degrees worth of rotation. I actually don't want to do that. I want to do 90 degrees, so I only need 18 turn points. So let me go ahead and reduce my G-forces here just a little bit here. I need 18. So let's go 5.5 maybe? 5. 5.5 it is. So we're going to say we did 5.5. That's going to get us 3 cells. And what is that going to do to our nose? So our nose, since we're pulling, it is going to move towards the canopy, and the canopy is going to basically move towards the wing. It's kind of neat how that would work. So basically, in this case, our nose would travel 1, 2, 3, and our canopy would travel 1, 2, 3. They're basically rotating through each other, if you want to think about it another way. So that's going to leave our nose now at upside down. It's going to take our canopy. Let's see here. Our canopy would be technically tilted. So I'll just say plus 0, 0. And our wing stays at exactly the same point. So you can see our nose goes down as it pitches down as we're pulling back up. Think of split S. And our canopy almost basically shifts positions with us as it does so. So this, of course, would take a total load of, you can see it's going to be a 5.5 Gs. It's going to slow us down by 50 knots and everything like that. And it's a lot of energy, but we're not dealing with that right now. So here comes the tricky part. After we plotted our movement, how far do we actually go ahead and move the aircraft? Because we're not stuck in one place. Well, this where it gets a little bit more tricky. So in this particular case, you notice that our nose moved a total of 1, 2, 3 points. So what we need to do is find the halfway point between where the nose started and where the nose ended to put our movement together. So in this particular case, it's pretty easy. 1, 2, 3 would mean that our halfway point, let's see, 345 would be about 330. It would basically be right here. If you want to imagine taking a straight line like this, it would park us in the corner of the 330E. So let's go ahead and take a look at our 3D movement tool for a second here. So we know we're facing upside down, and we know that this was where we started, this is where we ended. Our halfway point, if you actually take a look at it really, really carefully, go ahead and draw this real quick so you can see it. This is where we started, this is where we ended 90 degrees away. Our halfway point would be 1, 2, 3. But if you take a look at the chart, you can see the halfway point is instead exactly right here down this little middle position right here, which actually makes sense, making it between these two, which means when we plot our move, we're actually plotting on a hex edge. Try saying that fast. So let's go ahead and grab our brush again. And now watch this. So we're going to go ahead and we need to get to this point first, because basically we can plot anywhere between these two because we're technically on an edge. So we're still spending a total of 10 flight points here. So let's go 1. So as you move a hex away, you're fine. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's going to be 7 away. That's going to take us down a total of 10. So we need to go make ourselves a note that we're losing 10 so far. But we need 8, 9, 10 also. So 8, 9, 10. Okay, so what does that do for us total? So that would be another -3. That would take us to -13. So our total altitude change would actually be 13 in the negative as we do this maneuver. Now, if you come down here, you'll notice that we get 6 movement points for the first part of our dive. Then we get 3. So we're only going to get 9 movement points this time for this particular chart. This part does not change. But remember now that our halfway point is basically, sorry. Yeah, you got it. Halfway point, if you remember, 1, 2, is basically right here. So any of these are basically going to be valid in this particular case. That gives us this arc here in which to work in. So if we have a total of 9 points we'd have to spend. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we know there's another one, 9 would be right here. So if we were to go back onto our aircraft here, we'd know that we've lost a total of 13 altitude. So we have 25 minus 13 would be 12. Hey, what are you doing up in the air? Get down there. I'm going to go ahead and grab this. Whoa. Hate it when it does that. Hey, I need all you guys. Whoa. All right, let's go ahead and grab this little stack real quickly. So we know that this stack now is going to be, as like I said a second ago, how many hexes are we going down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we know our new location would be right there. We're just going to take this one off like that. And of course, since we were doing this particular maneuver, we'd get something that looks like this. And we'd now be looking just like that, pointing straight at the ground, losing altitude quickly. Now, one of the cool things is, because we lost 13, if you were to come over here and put in that delta altitude of 13, we'd actually pick up 20 knots in that very, very aggressive diving maneuver. So there's only one more scenario with movement that you're probably going to get tripped up on, and that's if you're going to turn. Now, turning makes things a little complicated, as if nothing else has been complicated so far. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that one right back to where it goes. I'm going to go ahead and clean up all my ugly squiggles here. Looks pretty good. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and make a nice complicated maneuver. So we're going to go ahead and spend the first part of our turn tipping our wing down, and then the second part of our turn pulling as hard as we can. Maybe we're dodging a missile or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and clear all this out real quickly. All right, so let's take one turn to go ahead and roll 3 cells to the left. That's going to take our nose. It's going to stay at the same spot. It's going to take our canopy, and it's going to shift it, if you want to think about it this way, 1, 2, 3 to 255. And it's going to take our beautiful wing here, and it's actually going to shift it. Oh, it should have been over here, I should say. The wing should have been right here at the time. It's going to shift our wing back over this way so that it's actually facing straight down, because we're going to be taking, I'm sorry, our right wing, that's impossible. So our right wing is actually facing straight up. There we go. Yeah, that makes sense. So basically, we twist to the left, which would make our wing face straight up, make our canopy basically straight over here, and make our nose go right here. That's going to use one tick for one flight point. That means we're going to have to go ahead and spend one flight point in this 3, 4, 5 direction. So we'd spend it the same way we've been doing it all along. In our case, we'll keep it super simple. We'll stay exactly at the same altitude. We'd come over here. We're going to go right here. So for our first flight point, we've essentially moved ourselves here, but we still have 9 flight points to go, or 9 ticks to go. So let's go ahead and take advantage of those. So let's see here. What can we get for 7Gs? 22 points. That's a lot. So what can we do for 6Gs? 19. We'll do 6Gs. That'll get us 3 total. Let me go ahead and check that real quickly. What do we get for that? For 18 gets us a 90-degree turn, which is actually pretty good if you ask me. That's probably going to bleed half of our energy out doing so, though, so let's kind of keep that in the back of our head. So in this particular case, we're going to be shifting a total of 3 of these windows. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 with the nose, because like I said, we're going to be shifting a total of 3 nose with that 6G turn. Going back to our spreadsheet real quickly, we know that we're going to be using a total load of 6 here. And we know that our nose is going to doot, 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 just like that. So our new nose position is actually going to be 255 plus 0, 0. Our new canopy position, of course, since our canopy was here, it's going to shift 1, 2, 3. It's going to be at 165. And our wing is going to stay in exactly the same point as it was a minute ago. Now, here's where we're going to get complicated again. So, what is the average point here? Well, this is a little bit easier, I think, to take a look at when we look at the horizontal thing. So, if you recall, we're technically flying here. And we're moving ourselves to 255, which is over here, creating this kind of 90-degree little turn here. So the halfway point would be right here along the 300 line, which would mean we'd be spending our flight points somewhere in here. We don't know how many flight points we have just yet, though, so let's actually check that real quick. So we're going to have a total of 9 flight points. So we're going to have to use the flight points down here before we can switch over to this side. So let's say as we took that turn, we also went ahead and tried to climb a little bit. So we have 9 flight points to spend. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 9 would be one more straight, 9. So that's going to get us an altitude change of actually positive 4, but it's also going to get us 9 total forward motion. So now we're going to come over here. Remember that this is our halfway point, and we have to spend 9 in here. So in this case, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just like that, which would bring us, let's see, from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that would be, I'm just trying to see exactly which one that is. Hold on just a second. So that would be the 330. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It would put us here, but keep in mind our final attitude, of course, would be tilted away. Unfortunately, I cannot tilt this little box real quickly, so that it would be either, like I can tilt this way, but unfortunately I can't tilt both ways at the same time, which is it's an oversight. But basically, our aircraft would end up facing this direction, tilted on its left side, and it would have made this kind of left turn kind of a thing heading in that direction. So that's basically all there is to it. Keep in mind, too, by the way, we've gained 4 altitude. So we'd actually have to come over here and say our delta altitude is 4. So the whole maneuver would have cost 70 knots of speed, which would have been very, very messy. All right, so that's basically all there is to movement. There's barrel rolls, but we'll kind of say that for another day. Because when you're doing a barrel roll, basically, you're just keeping your nose in the same place. And you're essentially, if you want to think about it kind of from the side here, if normally this would be the way we'd be traveling, you're basically going to shift like this and then travel like this is kind of another way to sort of think about it. It allows you to keep the same heading, but you're essentially jumping into the next arc. Well, not in this case because we're in the wrong axis here. It would actually be, sorry about that. It would actually be something if this is our normal direction. We'd basically be hopping over like this and then traveling our normal direction. Something along those kind of lines. It's a neat little maneuver. It just requires a little bit of extra work. All right, hopefully you found that kind of interesting and kind of informative. The spreadsheet goes a long way to making this job a lot simpler than it does, but unfortunately it doesn't do much for you for the back side of this piece of paper, which we'll take a look at another day. Enjoy.